boy. But I never told you this before, but I took the Moyle aside, I gave him a $50 bill, and I said, just take a little off the top. Leave a little extra. Leave a little extra, just a trim. You know, when I think of Charlie, I think of a great fisherman and a great video game man. Two very different skills, but makes a complete, whole, solid young man. And I'd like to acknowledge Charlie's parents, Joan and Scott. To Joan and Scott for raising such a wonderful young man. I'd also like to acknowledge his grandparents, Howie, Madeline, Rose, and Bob. And if you're standing there thinking, saying, you know, I helped raise that kid too, then tell everybody else to help raise that kid too. Yeah, everybody else. You know, it's amazing to me that Joan took part in raising such a wonderful young man, because when we were growing up, Joan had a hard time raising cats. She had one cat that tried to kill our neighbor, ended up in cat jail. Another cat she said got hit by a Super Bowl and ended up walking away to Miami or something crazy. It was just a mess. But to Joan and Scott for raising Charlie. You know, Charlie, you and I, we are very similar. I was raised in a traditional Italian-American Jewish household. And even though both sides of my family were very different, there was one value that I learned from both sides, and that's my faith and belief in God. I'll never forget growing up, just like you. We were fishing and swimming all the time. I'd go down to Seaside Park with my grandfather, James Busey. And I'll never forget this day. James, shout out. This one day I was there and we were fishing, and he called me over, he said, "Animal, come here, Animal." And I went over and I said, "What's up, Grandpa?" He said, "Cockroach, cockroach." I said, "You know what a cockroach is?" I said, "No." He said, "It's a cockroach." He said, "Listen to me, cockroach. Proof that there is a God is the survival of the Jewish people." He said, "Proof that there is a God is the existence of the Jews. Your very life is proof that there is a God." And I said, "That's great. Can we go fishing now, Grandpa?" Back then, I didn't realize what my grandfather was teaching me. Not only his love and belief in God, but also, even more importantly, he was teaching me to respect and appreciate all religions. And like I said before, both sides of the family have taught me this. My father, my Aunt Brenda, she just had her bat mitzvah a couple years ago. She's well over 13. And there were symbols everywhere growing up. The cross, the Star of David, the rosary beads, the St. Christopher medals in all the cars. And what else? All my aunts know how to give the evil eye. But I feel that my mother probably the most out of everyone instilled the belief in God in me the most. I remember we were young, we were growing up, we were fighting in the kitchen. She was making supper over the kitchen, and she was trying to hit us with a wooden spoon, and she'd look up and she'd go, "Help me, God!" And then we'd walk over and we'd look up. So for a moment, it worked. We helped. Other things she'd love to say was, "So help me, God, if I see you do that again." Or, "God's going to punish you. God's going to punish you for doing that." And then obviously the next one was, "See, I told you God was going to punish you." But my favorite all-time saying from my mom was, "God only knows where your sister is tonight." Joan, 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 Joan. Let's hear it for Joan. I must have heard that every night growing up.
This is not about me.